The big badasses of the Bleach universe are finally making their presence known in this week's super exciting chapter of Bleach. As cool as all of the stuff is, with Ichigo fighting against the Quincy leader, and Rukia and Renji getting ready to join their best friend in battle, I think we can all agree that the best thing about this week's chapter of Bleach has to be that final page, when we get to see the return of Isshin Kurosaki and Ryuken Ishida. Who's your daddy, evil Quincy army? Who's your daddy? So this might come as something of a shock, but this was another super simple chapter of Bleach, with lots of cool action, lots of ideology being thrown about. It's a pretty typical chapter of Bleach. That being said, it was still pretty damned exciting. I still love the look of the Quincy leader as he's covered in all of this black Reiatsu with these massive bulbous eyes. And basically, there is nothing that Ichigo can do against this guy. He charges him constantly, but continues to get knocked back by all of his powers. Hell, Ichigo is severely injured in this chapter where his eye gets completely jacked up. And while all of this is going on, the Quincy leader is basically just getting into Ichigo's head, letting him know that those powers never belong to you, man. They belong to me. They've just been on layaway for a long time. And Inoue does what Inoue does best. Just worry about shit and look really cute doing it. Outside, you still have Gerard Valkyrie, who apparently is on the same level as the Quincy leader, as he continues to just demolish everything around him like a giant kaiju beast. And then you have Rukia and Renji, who are suddenly saved by Byakuya, who tells both of them, you guys need to go help out Ichigo, we got it covered here. And it makes sense why they would go and help him out. They're like the best friends of that character. Honestly, I would love to see them all get involved into the final battle of the series. That way we don't just have the same old stereotypical duel between the main character and the final villain. I would like to see Rukia and Renji actually go up against the Quincy leader. I think it would be awesome. Maybe we get to see some cool combination attacks. Something that we honestly don't get to see too much in the Bleach series, and I think that that would be pretty damned awesome. But it's all about that final panel this week with the return of Isshin Kurosaki, the father of Ichigo, and of course Ryuken, the father of Ishida Uryu, who is also in this chapter still battling against Haschwalth, and Haschwalth is just trying to talk this dude to death. Basically, he comes up with this whole little, like, soliloquy, if you will, about the fact that people put their lives on a scale, whether they're good or whether they're evil. This is actually going in line with something that Byakuya and Hitsugaya were talking about in the middle of the chapter, yet Uryu is not hearing any of this shit. He's going to determine who he truly is when all of the Quincy are dead. Heads on a chopping block, and that is pretty freaking awesome. Uryu, one of the coolest moments you've had from the entire series. After being beaten, he manages to get up, pulls his bow and puts it right in Haschwalth's face, so we know their battle is not even close to being done quite yet. So what's the rundown on this week's chapter of Bleach? Isshin and Ryuken. That's really the best way to summarize this week's chapter. Seeing these characters return is amazing. It's also a great metaphor for the fact that it looks like two of the most important heroes at the end of this arc are indeed a Quincy and a Shinigami. Very similar to Ichigo and Uryu. There's definitely a parallel going on here, but I can't wait to see these guys go all out, because that's something that we've never really seen before. Hell, we've barely seen Isshin do anything aside from being really goofy and being an all-around kick-ass dad, with Ryuken being the exact opposite in just about every single way, being extremely stoic and badass. But I love the fact that they were able to make their way to Soul Society through the use of this like weird little teleportation coin, which apparently they've used for quite some time, even after Isshin was banished from frickin' Soul Society, so that's no problem for them. They were able to get to this place, and I'm really interested to see where they're going to go first. If they're going to try and help out Byakuya and their team go up against Gerard Valkyrie, I have a feeling that's going to be their first stop before they actually run into the Quincy leader. Maybe they're actually going to divide and split off, with Ryuken going to see his son, and of course Isshin going to see Ichigo, but that means he's also going to have a tense confrontation with Ewok, the Quincy leader. This could potentially lead to A, a really kick-ass action scene, or B, the sudden death of Ichigo's father, which could possibly get him to go into a Super Saiyan-like state. You know what I mean. He's going to be overcome with grief and unlock some sort of crazy ability that we've never seen before. That seems like a really stereotypical thing for them to do, so I really hope they don't go with the B option. I'd rather much just see Isshin actually fighting, maybe showing off what his Zanpakuto is truly capable of, maybe some more of his other cool hidden abilities. Like I said, it's strange that he's been around since practically the very first episode and still one of the most mysterious characters from the entire series. And it was only a matter of time before they showed this guy off, and considering that we're right at the end of the series, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. But honestly, it's amazing how close we're actually getting to the finale here. I mean, there's only so many adversaries left for our heroes to go up against. Maybe there's going to be a big twist at the end of this series. I mean, clearly I think we need a lot more backstory on the Quincy leader for us to care about him a little bit more, because as cool of a villain as he is, I want to learn a little bit more about his history from beginning all the way to the end. And I imagine before we get to the true final battle of the series, that's where we're going to go. So all in all, this was a really exciting chapter with a fantastic cliffhanger ending that any Bleach fan should definitely check out. It also helps that this week's chapter also had some really cool action, some really great dialogue, the return of some classic characters, Rukia and Renji helping out, Ryuken and Isshin. This was a solid chapter of Bleach, my friends, with a lot of hype behind it that I think people are going to get excited about. So I'm going to give this chapter right here a 4 out of 5. So pumped after reading this chapter, especially the final page. But I want to hear from you guys. Are you excited that Isshin and Ryuken have finally returned to the story? What do you want to see them do in the final arc of this series? Do you have any theories as to what their powers are going to entail? And what do you want to see from the rest of the final arc of Bleach? Please tell me in the comment section below. You guys are awesome! Thank you for watching this review. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support the channel, maybe you could subscribe to it. Maybe hit that like button right now. You should also check out all the cool links we got in the description box below. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!